Have you had them prepare themselves in whatever way they would have to prepare themselves to come to battle? And I bet what I have, everything I have, is that meatloaf.
Oh, hey, listen up. We got to talk about how these Charlie Kirk supporters are spinning the narrative, desperately trying to blame black and brown communities for the chaos. And why? Just because people aren't crying over a man who once boldly claimed black folks were better off before civil rights since, according to him, they committed less crimes.
Women and children were killed in violent lynch mobs.
That's your explanation, but I guess
racial terror permeated American culture for hundreds of years.
Black America is worse than it has been.
That affects.
But here's the real kicker. These are the same people who mocked and dismissed Breonna Taylor, Tamir Rice, George Floyd, and countless other black victims. They cheered on their pain, they laughed at their names, and now they're suddenly outraged over reactions to Charlie Kirk.
You can't have empathy for someone like Charlie Kirk. First of all, Charlie Kirk don't believe in empathy. He said it's a bad thing. He said it's some new age made up shit.
This dude screaming, crying, saying you did it right now. I don't want to hear nothing from you self-righteous libs, Democrats. We're coming for you.
The hypocrisy is disgusting. The double standards are wild, and the whole internet sees it. It almost feels like there's one ugly common thread in all this mess. Black celebrities are stepping in, and while a few are keeping it polite, others are flat out refusing to sugarcoat a thing. They're saying loud and clear they have zero sympathy for Charlie Kirk. 50 Cent even dropped a post so raw and reckless, the backlash was instant. He got pressured to snatch it down. But here's the wild part. Some of Charlie's hardcore fans are now throwing out death threats, yet stayed completely silent when lives were lost in the Colorado school shooting that happened just hours after Charlie was shot. That silence speaks volumes. Amanda Seales came through too, blunt as ever, saying she feels no empathy whatsoever for Charlie. And just like that, the divide is growing even bigger, with voices refusing to play nice anymore. Umar is stepping into the chaos, trying to play peacemaker, warning black folks not to cheer over Charlie's death. But the question is, what do these reactions really reveal? Is it just people chasing shock value, or does it point to something deeper about how divided America really is right now? Because trust me, the responses from celebrities are anything but calm. I'm about to break down exactly what was said, what got deleted, and why these words keep shaking the internet. When it comes to the conversation around Charlie Kirk's assassination, the first big voice to step forward was none other than 50 Cent. And in true 50 fashion, he didn't waste time with a polished PR line or fake sympathy. He dropped a raw screenshot of the actual moment Charlie was shot and added a caption that cut deep. Want to know how I feel about this? I don't know, but I do know it's a good time to shut the F up. You already know Charlie's supporters lost it instantly and started swarming 50. They came for him hard, accusing 50 of being heartless, insensitive, and straight up celebrating Charlie Kirk's death. Comment sections exploded with Kirk's supporters raging that 50 was finished and demanding he be canceled once and for all. Some of the threats went way beyond trolling. Fans actually typed out chilling lines like, "Hope you are next." The heat got so intense that within hours, the post disappeared, with 50 quietly pulling it down, like he knew the storm wasn't worth it. But here's the twist. Not everyone thought 50 was wrong. A wave of people defended him, calling out the double standards. They reminded everyone that Charlie Kirk built his entire platform on dismissing black pain, mocking victims of police brutality, and pushing racist conspiracy theories for clout. For those folks, the message was clear. Don't expect us to suddenly show sympathy for a man who never showed even a shred of empathy for us. One fan clapped back saying, "I'm not feeling sympathy for someone who would have called me every slur in the book. Sorry, bookie." Another voice chimed in, dragging the fake outrage, calling it all performative nonsense while pointing out the silence when parents lose their kids in school shootings. The hypocrisy is glaring, and the anger in those comments hit different. Now let's talk DL Hughley. And trust me, he didn't hold anything back. DL came swinging with receipts, starting by sharing a TikTok that exposed the wild irony in Charlie's own words. This wasn't made up. Charlie literally said, "It's worth having some shooting victims here and there as long as he can keep his guns. That's not just reckless, that's cold-blooded." DL made sure people knew it, blasting the clip to his millions of followers so nobody could twist it or play dumb. But DL Hughley didn't stop at just one clapback. He doubled down, posting a clip of Speaker of the House Mike Johnson asking for prayers for Charlie Kirk and his family. DL wasn't having it because the hypocrisy was off the charts. He tore into Johnson with sharp questions. Did he ever ask for prayers when kids were slaughtered in school shootings? Did he call for prayers when Congresswoman Hortman and her husband Mark were tragically unalived? Then came the kicker. When news broke that Trump ordered U.S. flags flown at half-mast to honor Charlie Kirk, DL exploded again. He reminded everyone that Trump had literally raised those same flags back up when the Pope passed, exposing the double standards in the coldest way possible. Once again, DL hammered the point. Flags never got lowered for innocent children taken in school shootings, and not even for Congresswoman Hortman's tragic death. So why now? Is Kirk's case truly so exceptional? DL made it clear the answer was obvious. He wasn't just questioning tradition. He was ripping into the hypocrisy that runs deep. He highlighted how Charlie Kirk and his crew have long mocked compassion, calling empathy nothing but weakness. Yet suddenly, those same voices are crying out, demanding empathy for a man who openly bragged that he hated the word and dismissed it as completely made up. The double standard couldn't be louder. But DL wasn't anywhere close to finished. He came back swinging with a fiery video compilation he titled Hate and Bigotry, Charlie Kirk's Real Legacy. And that was only the beginning. DL doubled down by posting a clip of Charlie flat out denying that George Floyd was killed by a cop, while proudly saying he wanted Derek Chauvin set free. That's the kind of clip you can't walk back, and DL made sure everyone saw it. Then DL turned the temperature all the way up, hinting at the biggest twist yet, a theory that Charlie was taken out by the very same people he spent years defending. DL spelled it out with another caption, reminding his followers that when Trump got shot, conservatives instantly blamed the radical left. But in the end, it turned out the shooter was from Trump's own camp. DL sealed the point with a hard truth. When you point one finger, 3 more are pointing back at you. Now let's get one thing straight. DL wasn't out here cheering for violence. What he was doing was breaking down the racial and political optics, exposing how America reacts differently depending on who's caught in the crossfire. But of course, Charlie Kirk's loyalists weren't trying to hear that. They blasted DL, accusing him of deflecting from the tragedy and twisting things into excuses for the shooter. Yet plenty of others saw his point loud and clear, saying Kirk's fans were just fishing for a reason to stir up a race war. And they're mad that black folks are minding their business, refusing to fall for the bait. But DL isn't the only one facing the wrath of Kirk's defenders. Amanda Seales is in the hot seat too. During a live Instagram chat, Amanda made it crystal clear she wasn't about to fake empathy for someone like Charlie Kirk. When commenters pressed her about showing compassion, she clapped back, reminding them Charlie himself trashed the entire concept of empathy. Amanda broke it down plain. She said she can't have empathy for Charlie because there's nothing about his life she can connect with, no way she could ever be in his shoes. That honesty lit a firestorm. Charlie's diehard fans came after her like hawks, dragging her with every insult in the book. And it wasn't just white conservatives. Scroll through X and you'll see plenty of black men piling on too, hurling words like scum, idiot, sociopath, and every ugly slur imaginable. Meanwhile, angry white users were ranting that Amanda should be stripped of citizenship, deported, and even spewing bizarre nonsense about black fatigue. The hate campaign was relentless. But Amanda wasn't left standing alone. She had a wave of defenders rallying behind her, many pointing straight back at Charlie's record of anti-black rhetoric. They made it clear Amanda wasn't celebrating death. She was calling out the hypocrisy of demanding empathy for a man who never once showed it to their community. Amanda wasn't out here preaching hate. She was refusing to play the game of fake sympathy for a man whose entire public career was built on spreading harm and division. One supporter summed it up perfectly, pointing out that nowhere in her words did she celebrate his death. Nowhere did she call for violence. All she said was she couldn't feel empathy for him. And that's exactly what Charlie himself used to say. He openly dismissed empathy as some new age dangerous word. So let's be real. He never wanted empathy, and he never gave it. Fans backing Amanda stressed they were tired of the hypocrisy. Yes, it's tragic that he was killed, but nobody is required to mourn him. Why should communities that he constantly mocked and attacked be forced to pretend he was some kind of saint? Death doesn't erase a lifetime of spreading hate and lies, no matter how hard his followers try to rewrite history. I think not. I won't celebrate his death, but I'm sure not mourning either, and that doesn't make me hateful in the slightest. Another supporter jumped in, saying Amanda's just too real, and now they finally understand why the media stays against her.
He also said people gotta be sacrificed in order to protect guns. If he was saying that while fighting for reparations, I may have a little bit of empathy.
I think it's worth to have a cost of, unfortunately, some gun deaths every single year so that we can have the Second Amendment to protect our other God-given rights.
They even compared it to how Malcolm X was hated until people truly started listening. That commenter went all in, saluting Amanda from across the globe, calling her braver and realer than your favorite rapper, and even your favorite rapper's favorite rapper. But the story doesn't stop there, because the spotlight quickly shifted to Dr. Umar Johnson. People expected him to echo Amanda's no sympathy stance, but Umar went in a different direction. Instead of cheering, he took it as a moment to lecture black folks, saying the jokes and memes about Charlie Kirk's assassination had crossed a serious line. His reaction stirred up a whole different kind of debate, and not everyone agreed with him. Umar dropped a long statement on his IG, making it crystal clear where he stood. He admitted he saw Charlie Kirk as an anti-black bigot and openly disagreed with everything Kirk represented. But he refused to rejoice in his death. Umar said he would never celebrate the loss of life unless that person directly participated in the killing of someone from the black African community. To him, it was shameful seeing people online making jokes and throwing parties over the situation. He stressed that while nobody had to mourn an enemy, celebrating a life lost was a line that should never be crossed. Umar reminded everyone that in America, the majority of political assassinations have historically targeted black leaders and voices, not their enemies. His warning was sharp. Laughing at the misfortune of others only blinds the community to their own danger. He urged people to stop clowning around and start preparing for the real fight ahead. Political assassinations are back in America, with people blaming the so-called deep state. But Umar's own followers weren't buying his calm approach. Instead of applauding his words, they tore into him, accusing him of watering things down and trying to play moral high ground. One furious commenter snapped, wondering if Umar would have posted that same lecture if he was the one who got shot. The shade was heavy. Others doubled down, saying nobody was celebrating Charlie's death anyway. They were just refusing to mourn him. But the harshest clapback came from a fan who exploded, writing that Umar deserved 50 lashes for posting something so weak. They told him straight up, no non-black person would ever post a lecture like that for him, so why waste energy on protecting enemies? The backlash was wild, and the internet is spiraling fast. This storm isn't calming down, it's only growing uglier by the minute. But here's the chilling reality. Whoever pulled the strings on this assassination got exactly what they wanted. Pure division. The nation is now more fractured than ever, and every single reaction proves how easily violence can be turned into a weapon. Celebrities, politicians, everyday people, all shouting, pointing fingers, and feeding the fire. And at the end of the day, that outrage isn't random. It's the very chaos this act was meant to unleash, tearing people apart on purpose. So what do you think about these explosive reactions from 50, Umar, Amanda, and the rest? Are we even capable of sitting down as a nation to face the bigger picture? Or is it already too late? With division so deep we can't see the same puppet masters pulling the strings? Drop your thoughts in the comments, smash that like button, and don't forget to subscribe to Gossip for more breakdowns like this. I'll see you in the next video.